Thanks, Hans.
How you guys
Hey,
been?
Hans.
We are doing amazing.
Pretty good. Yeah.
We're glad to have you back. So I know you have a lot on the program today. What are you planning to cover, and what can we expect to learn?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really, really exciting Growth Lab session today because I'm sure, as most of you have heard over the last few months, Shopify has released Shopify Email, which is now their own email platform. So we're going to be spending the first part of today going through step by step how you can actually build and execute and launch your forced email campaign using Shopify Email. Now, Shopify Email is a great tool for people just starting out and just getting going. It's super simple. It's fully integrated. So we're going to walk through that. That's going to be the first part of today. And then after that, we're going to actually go into the more advanced version of how you can build out your first welcome series using Klaviyo. And we're actually going to walk you guys through one of our clients and some of the work we've done for them and how you can do the same thing for your business after today.
All right, that sounds awesome. So buckle up, everyone. Sharpen your pencils. I will hop into the control room and let you guys take it from here. But if you need me, just call me and I'll come right back.
Thanks, Hans. Appreciate it. And as we get started, guys, my name is Mark Milliton, and I have Alex. That's part of our team. We're from Breadloaf. We're a digital agency based out of Los Angeles that specifically specializes in doing retention marketing for direct consumer e-commerce brands in the Shopify ecosystem. So on a monthly basis, our company is doing everything from the strategy and the planning to the copywriting, to the design, to the campaign build out, QC testing and launch and reporting. We handle everything from A to Z, specifically focusing on email marketing, SMS, and automation. And Alex actually leads our copywriting and content team, and she's been with us for a while. She's amazing, and I'm really happy to have her on the call. And I just like to start off these calls or these webinars where you to learn a little bit more about us. So Alex, why don't you spend a minute giving the audience today some info on your background?
Sure. I'm Alex. Antonopoulos is my last name, but I don't expect Mark to say that. It's a mouthful. Hi to everyone. I'm going to be seeing what's going on in the chat. And as you have questions that come up, I'm going to throw them to Mark. And there's going to be, we already have like over 100 people in here today. So it's going to be kind of busy. So if I don't address your question right off the bat, just know that I'll try to be circling back through that. Anyway. I'm a copywriter. I have been in the industry for about 7 years doing all kinds of roles from copywriting, editing, managing editor in digital publishing. For Breadloaf, I'm specifically their copywriter for their email marketing campaigns. So we're going to talk about all that fun stuff today. If you have any questions specifically on the actual writing of the copy, I am going to do a quick little best practices overview for you guys sometime in the presentation. So we'll be getting to that. But anyway, I'll throw it back to Mark, and I'm excited to get this thing rolling.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Yeah, and to give you guys all a little brief on my background, I've been working in digital advertising and marketing, specifically focusing on direct-to-consumer brands for the last 10 years. Worked for a lot of different agencies and then ended up starting Breadloaf around 4 or 5 years ago, and really found that I'm super passionate about helping brands scale on the back end of the business. Within any type of e-commerce brand, especially when you're going direct to consumer, you have to find out how to monetize your customers over the long term because it costs so much money to acquire them on the front end. So we really help brands learn how to build memorable stories and campaigns that help extract more value out of their customer base, and then also curate different customer journeys through automation at the same time. So like I said, today we're going to dive into this. This is going to be a hands-on workshop. And we're going to be moving at a pretty decent speed. So if you feel a little overwhelmed at any given time, there will be a recording of this webinar, and please feel free to ask questions. That's what we're here for. So I'm going to be walking through the screen share and going through the tools and kind of showing you guys how to work through. And then Alex is going to be able to feed questions. And we're also going to have a couple of polls that we're going to be answering along the way. So please feel free to ask us and give us some feedback through this. This is meant to really help you guys build your skills to help you generate and build a more successful online business. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to dive into Shopify email using a test account that we have called Venice Surf Gear. And our main objective is to get you guys familiar with the back end of the platform, learn how to actually launch your first campaign using the front end editor. And we're going to talk about how to build customer lists, how to actually grow your list, and then also how to launch and build a campaign. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get started. Awesome. So within the back of Shopify, you can see here, this is Venice Surf Gear, which is just solely a fictitious business based out of Venice Beach that sells online surf equipment. We're going to use this as an example today to kind of walk through Shopify email. And the first thing that you're going to want to do when you start using Shopify emails, of course, you're going to want to download the app. So the way that you would download the app is just like any other app. You'd navigate through the App Store. And then within there, you would go to visit the App Store and then download it. Since I already have the app downloaded in the back end of this account, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to click create an email. So as we're in here, this is the front end of Shopify email, and you can see the main call to action in here is just to get started. So what we're going to do is today, with where we're at, as you know, June coming along, we have Father's Day coming up, and Father's Day is a great opportunity to build a campaign to potentially sell some of your goods or services for Father's Day. So we're going to walk through some of the best practices, some of the copy, some of the messaging, and also show you just how easy it is to build a tool from the ground up. But before we get started on that, I want to give you some insights into a couple of other points about Shopify email. So right now, Shopify email is actually free for you all to use up until October 1st. And then after October 1st, it's going to be free for up to 2,500 emails, and then only $1 for every 1,000 emails you send after that. So it's actually really affordable. I mean, this is a great tool. If you're doing, less than $5,000, $10,000 a month in sales, and you don't have an email marketing tool going yet, and you're looking for something to start generating money through that customer list, this is a great tool for beginners and startup stores to just start getting live. It's very affordable. Like I said, it's free right now, and it kind of gives you legs to scale. Like I said, this is what we recommend for people that are just getting started and really trying to break the barrier to actually focusing on marketing. And then we're going to get into the more advanced version down the road. So as we're in here right now, what we want to do is click create email. And then once you go into create email, this is your starting point. So Shopify has built a few different variations of campaigns for you to get started pretty fast. What they do is they pull in some information, your logo, a couple photos, and a couple other components to your store products. And you can easily select one of these campaigns to get started very, very fast. Then if you already have campaigns built in previous emails, you can go into this area and you can see what you've built in the past and you already have going to duplicate or preview, send a test, do whatever. So for the sake of today, what we're going to do with Father's Day coming up, we're going to create a Father's Day email and show you some of the things that we would be doing for our clients, or for us personally, if we were launching a campaign for Father's Day for a brand. So as we go down, we see that Shopify's built a template for Father's Day already. Super simple and ready to go. So what we're going to do is press select. And then once we're in here, you can see that we can pick the list of customers that we're going to send to. Since this is a test account, we're just going to click all subscribers, and there's only 2 people in there because this is just a test account. But we have the ability to add in subject line in preview text, and then it also has the from name. Also, one thing that you want to make sure to do is before you start using Shopify email, when you're actually going to push emails live, even during the free trial, you still need to add in your account billing information. It's super important to get that in so you could actually launch your first campaign. But right now, like what the first step is really to put in your subject line and preview text. So we have actually built that in advanced, and I have saved that information in our project management tool. And Alex was able to write some really cool copy. And ultimately what we're trying to do is build a catchy subject line and preview header that's going to entice your customers to come in and purchase. You can see this is as easy as just clicking away. So what we really recommend is that before you actually build the email, you write the copy and you pick a couple images and you actually have some foundational idea on what you're going to do. If it's last minute and you think you're just going to get in here and start writing stuff, you're going to run into writer's block and that creative block. So one thing I actually want to start talking to is we're moving into copy is, Alex, would you like to talk about some of the things that you do for the brands that we work with when it comes to writing copy and in messaging and subject line and preview text, as well as in the actual base of an email?
Yeah, absolutely. So the points that I want to hit today on best practices are pretty concise. They're pretty basic. There are like 3 with maybe an additional 4th one. The idea behind crafting an email is that you're speaking from your brand's voice and tone, and you're speaking to a specific customer base, right? So you going into this should already have an idea who your target customer is and what the voice of your own brand sounds like. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be trendy. It just has to be some brand voice that you know. So you want to keep that in mind. What we do when we start to work with brands is we have a voice and tone survey. And those questions range from, we're actually in the process of revamping it to add some more interesting questions on there. But it ranges from anything like, give us 3 to 5 words that describe your brand, to if your brand was a celebrity, who would they be? Or who would they follow on Instagram? So just getting into the mindset of who you are and who you're trying to reach will inform the rest of the copy as you're writing it. So the first 2 things you want to have written are a subject line and the preview text. So the preview text is what's going to come in under the subject line. Most people are looking at their phone when they're receiving emails. So it's good to keep in mind the length of the subject line. You want it to be like kind of concise, short, and also drop an emoji in there because people engage with emojis pretty frequently. You might also want to A/B test. So what we do sometimes is we have sort of a straightforward subject line and preview text, and then we do like a B version of that where it's a little bit more vague. I think as we get into it, we might be able to have some better examples for you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's also something we could address later if you want to talk about
as we get into Klaviyo, we'll talk about how we can run some A/B tests and some of the things that we do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Alex, that was amazing. That was great. So what I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to kind of go into some of the copy that Alex has written for Father's Day. And like I said, this is just to let you know, we use Basecamp as our project management tool. So we're just plugging in all that information. Staying organized is something that is imperative to running any campaigns with everything you have going on in your business. So definitely recommend you use a tool if possible like it. But for the sake of this, we have the subject line in the preview text, and then we have a call to action headline of Father's Day weekend sale. And then this weekend only, take 30% off for Father's Day with discount code SURFDAD at checkout. And then we have a couple of other, pieces of copy where we could have gifts for dad. Then we have a couple of different products that we kind of picked that we could also include. So for this campaign, what I'm going to do is start plugging in some of this copy into the overall structure of this campaign. And also, as we're in here, I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to kind of use some of these tools. So what you'll notice here is you can click on this plus button and we can actually add in text. We can add in a button, an image. I'm going to add in an image to this top section right here. And all we're going to do is press select. We're going to upload the image. And now we have an image in that headline, which is great. So we have an image in there. We like to put a nice clean hero image. To start off, I wouldn't even recommend doing any overlay text in a tool like Canva or Photoshop. Just keep it super simple. We have the logo at the top. And now we're going to go in here and start editing some of this copy, which is pretty cool. So we're going to edit the copy. As you can see here, we can change the color. You can change it to any color you want. We can make it bold. We can change the font size. We can do a lot of cool things in here. We can change the alignment. And then we can also get rid of space. The next thing we're going to do is go in here and add in the additional copy. We're going to put that in here. As you can see, this is a very simple, easy to use front end WYSIWYG editor. Super simple. We'll keep this copy in here. Father's Day is June 21st. Order soon to ensure your gifts arrives on time. And then what we'll do for this, I'm going to restyle it a little. So you can see it's super easy to style. Very easy to style. And then we have a button here. So I'm actually going to change this button to say gifts for dad. And then I am going to center it. And then bingo. And other things you can do, you can offer gift cards. You can put in other types of copy, but essentially what we did right now, and by the way, it's super easy too. You just plug in your links to any link. You put the link right in there. Very easy to use. You can change the background colors as well. But as you can see, in a couple minutes, we built a Father's Day email. Super simple. It's ready to go. And then once you have that campaign ready to roll, you want to send yourself a test. We're going to send ourselves a test email, and bingo, check the test, QA it, make sure it's ready to roll. And now you have everything you need to send your first email through Shopify email for Father's Day, which we found Father's Day right now is all of our clients that have products that are related to potential Father's Day purchase are really doing well. I would say at this time, Alex, do we have any questions about Shopify email that we can maybe answer before we dive into the more advanced version in Klaviyo?
I'm not seeing any questions yet. Guys, did you have any specific questions? I'm not seeing anything. I think everyone's kind of following along. It's pretty basic. It's pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. So after you're ready to go, you set this live. And then, like I said, right now this is just a test account. We don't have billing set up, but you would go press review. Once you go through review, you can set it live. A couple of other things I want to touch on with the tool, just moving in here, is you can build out different customer audiences. So I can go in here, which is under the customer section, and I can start building a customer audience. Say I'm going to pick people who have subscribed and that are, let's see what else we can do. Let's say people that have spent less than, or let's say less than $1, or let's say less than this amount, $0, or less than $1. So we want to pick we want to create an audience essentially of everyone that is not purchased yet from the store. You can build those audiences in here pretty easily, and you can save them. So we'll call this one test one. You can save that. And right in there, what you can essentially do is go back into Shopify email and send an email to that saved customer list based on those parameters. So it's really easy, all natively in Shopify, to build those out and get them going. Another thing I wanted to mention too is that Shopify email integrates in with a lot of the large pop-up tools on the market. One of them is Privy. So essentially you can build a pop-up in Privy and connect it directly to Shopify email. So that's a really cool thing. But another thing that I wanted to mention too is within Shopify email, there are a couple things that I'm going to dive into the app real fast. So in the email tool, let's go back into create email. Let's go into preview emails. So you can see here what it does is it saves your past email. Right now it's taking a minute to load the image, but you can go back into this tool to see any of your campaigns that you're currently working on. And you can check them out, you can duplicate it, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Shopify has developed a really cool tool to make it really simple for stores starting out to start sending email campaigns right away. And like I said before, email is one of the best ways to generate consistent revenue from your existing customers and subscribers. So at that time, I want to give everyone the opportunity to answer any other questions they may have before we dive into the more advanced version in Klaviyo. Alex, do we have any other questions yet, or should we move on?
I don't see anything yet. I think people are following along.
Okay, fantastic. Well, with that being said, this is a Shopify email is a great tool for beginners to get started. But what we're going to show you right now is actually the more pro version. What we recommend for stores that are doing over $5,000 a month, we really recommend you use Klaviyo. One of the reasons of that is the immense list of different capabilities, from audience segmentation to automation building to different integrations. So today we're actually going to walk through how to build a rockstar welcome flow within Klaviyo. And we're going to use one of our clients as an example. We have a client called Tiny Rituals, and this is a brand that actually just started a few months ago, and they are crushing it. They're doing really, really well. And one of the reasons for that is because of the success of the email marketing program. And what we actually do with this account is we send an email every other day to this email list. And part of the success of the work that we're having is upon our client, who is consistently running paid media to the site. And that paid media is helping generate new subscribers. If you don't drive people to your site, there's only so many people you're going to be hitting on a daily basis. And we like to see that front end pop-up that we run actually converts around 5 to 8% of new website visitors, or new website visitors into new subscribers. So once a new subscriber comes to your site, they opt in through a pop-up or newsletter footer or potential sweepstakes you're rolling. You want to curate that experience and that customer journey into a welcome series. And so specifically with Tiny Rituals, we have a really cool 8 email series built out. And we're going to walk through some of the best practices, tips and tricks, and things that we recommend you do for your own store. So,
hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Can I update you? I was looking at the questions in reverse, so there are plenty of questions to get to. I apologize, guys.
Great.
I was scrolling down instead of scrolling up.
No worries. Well, do we want to host? Should we maybe just wait till questions up there at the end now for Shopify email, and then we can kind of dive into that?
That's fine with me. I think
okay, great. Awesome. Yeah. And if you guys have any questions about Klaviyo's, just since we're on the topic, please feel free to ask. This is supposed to be interactive. And yeah, so we'll continue. But when you're building out your first welcome series, you want to really think of what is the customer going to be thinking when they see your brand. And a lot of times when we're working with brands that already have an existing welcome flow built out, or they're trying to figure this out, is think of someone who doesn't know you at all, and they signed up through a pop-up on your site for 10, 20, 15% off, whatever it is. You dangled that carrot through the pop-up and they bit the carrot. That's what we say. Like, you have to have a good front-end offer in that pop-up to really generate those new subscribers. Usually the best way to do that is through an offer. So someone comes through your site, and specifically for Tiny Rituals, like I said, we're pretty advanced version with this brand. We actually use Attentive, which is an SMS platform, to actually build out the front end pop-up. So we actually ask for email and SMS on the front end through Attentive. Then we have a welcome flow that gets built through Attentive for SMS, and then all of those email subscribers come into Klaviyo, and then we start curating that list. So for this specific flow, what we start off with is some really awesome copy that really sets that and curates that journey. So this is actually great because Alex wrote all the copy for Tiny Rituals welcome flow. So we'll be able to, Alex, we'll be able to have you kind of come through and give us some pointers on what you were thinking when you were writing some of this stuff. So sure. Yeah. So as we go in here, when you're building out a welcome flow, it's quite simple in Klaviyo. You go under flows, and then Klaviyo has a bunch of flows already built out and ready for you. You can go down, and there's a list of a bunch of them already here. If you're going to start off from scratch, you would pick welcome series, and that's going to start setting everything up.
Just a quick question. Can you go full screen?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, great.
No problem.
I'm jumping out again.
No problem. Awesome. So we're in here and we're looking through all these flows. You pick welcome series. We're just going to go through, since we already have the welcome series built, we're going to go into flows. And an interesting thing is what we actually do is we have 3 welcome flows built for this brand, specifically because we have our primary list that we're hitting with all new subscribers that come through from the pop-up or the newsletter footer on the site. And then we also have a different paid giveaway flow, and then another giveaway flow because of the amount of giveaway and sweepstakes that we run with this client. So we're going to go in here and click on the primary list, which is the main one. And as we go in here, you're going to want to set some flow filters on who's going to see this. This is a pretty advanced version of anyone who has placed an order 0 times since starting this flow. That's primarily the main trigger that you want to have set up. This one we get a little more advanced just to make sure that no one who's in any of the other giveaway flows gets this. But the main thing that you want, and the thing that Klaviyo sets up for you in that basic template, is this: placed order 0 times since starting the flow. That's going to make sure that anyone who has placed an order 0 times is now entering into this flow. So as we enter into this first email, we're going to go into preview mode. And you can see here the structure of a great welcome email is something that's inviting and that's going to get someone to really understand the brand. So we have a really nice here, top navigation with a logo and a few, really just nice, simple header, a great welcome email with some text overlay, some copy overlay. And then we dive into welcome from Tiny Rituals. We have a 20% off offer with the code that they can click through. And then what we do is we actually have a product feed that we built out. So in Klaviyo, you can connect your Shopify store and you can actually build specific product feeds of collections based on different collections that you have built in Shopify. So you can see here, this is all a custom product feed that we have built on different products. And we go down talking about gemstone bracelets and what they are, which is the core product. We talk about the cause. And then we have a nice, beautiful footer that really has a couple of social images linked to Instagram, which is their main social channel, and a little nice footer that we built talking about 10% of profits go to support children in need. They're a 1% per planet brand. And then it's the cool thing is that this brand actually has a mobile app as well using TapCart. So users can download the mobile app in the App Store, the Google Play Store. So very clean and simple. Alex, did you have anything you wanted to touch on copy or kind of the overall content direction for a welcome email?
I would actually like to take that time to address some of the questions because because people are definitely curious about some things. So quickly, one that we saw at the very beginning was whether or not you can optimize the hero image and the email images with the Shopify Optimizer tool. Sorry,
could you say that one more time?
Whether you can optimize the hero image with the Shopify Optimizer tool, which I assume might have to do, this is from Alia.
Yeah.
I assume that has to do with alt text.
Yeah, I think is it in reference to overlaying text onto an existing image?
That was the only question.
Yeah. So what that specifically is called is actually image mapping. And that is a feature that Klaviyo and Shopify email both do not have yet. It's a feature. So if you ever want to overlay an image onto text, the only way that you're going to be able to do that using these tools is actually building that image out in Photoshop or Canva or another design tool.
Great. Another question from Steve has to do with, I think, migrating his emails from MailChimp to Shopify.
Cool.
Is that going to mess up? He's asking, is that going to mess up his customer newsletter list?
No.
That Shopify's been collecting. Yeah,
very, very interesting. So if you're a brand that's just starting to migrate, say you're going to migrate from MailChimp to another platform, in this specific instance is the question that they're going to migrate from MailChimp to Shopify?
Shopify.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so the good thing about all of that is you have that customer data already in Shopify. So there might be some manual uploads that you might need to do if you collected customers through something else, and now you're going to get in there. I recommend just going into some of the documentation that Shopify email specifically puts in. But yeah, that is a good point. You're not going to get specific data points on like who opened specific emails on the past. That information's not going to pass through. But the good news is you're gonna be in a good platform that's native and fully connected. So all of your existing customer data is in there, and you'll still be able to build custom audiences based on different customer segments. So anyone who's purchased at least one time or purchased between $1 to $50 or whatever it is, you can build those real dynamic segments because you have all of that customer data connected to those profiles.
Perfect. Jonathan has a question about resending to the people who haven't opened originally. He says that he hasn't been able to figure out how to do that in Shopify, and I guess he's sent out a few emails already.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what I would do is actually go back into the customer tool and start playing around with the customer tool, and you should be able to build an audience based on specific components of who has opened or not opened an email in the past. So I would say, once again, play around with the tool a little more and spend some time on it. That is the only way you're going to really get to learn how to use any good marketing technology is just getting in there and getting your hands dirty and playing around with it, writing some documentation. I always say what's super important is is building a system and a framework, and then applying that, and then also documenting these things, because you might not be the person that's going to be sending emails in your business in another 6 months. You might be so busy that you need to have someone else do this. So start documenting all these things so anyone else on your team can now learn how to do it.
Awesome. Catching up here, guys. Shopify's notification emails seem to be clashing with Klaviyo. So Tala is asking about turning off the Shopify emails so it doesn't duplicate from Klaviyo.
Interesting. So notification emails, if those are specific emails that are being sent up, we consider notification emails are like transactional emails. Those you do not want to turn off. Those are part of the purchasing process. Those are the order confirmation. That's the order has shipped. Those emails keep as is. You do not want to mess with them. Think of everything that you're doing in Klaviyo as marketing emails. That's what you're sending to market to existing customers or new subscribers. So keep those things separate. Now, there is integrations where you can start using tools like Malomo or some of these other tools that integrate in with Klaviyo, more advanced, that let you send transactional messages in more of a beautiful framework that really adds in a lot more branding versus what's currently done in Shopify. You can actually go in, you can have your dev team custom code emails within Shopify's transactional messages as well. So that is another option. It's a little more work, but you can actually go in, have a designer build out the email in the framework you want, and then add in all the transactional components and hard code that design directly in there. That is possible. So I hope that helps.
Awesome. One more. I think I might have missed it. Someone's asking about using Klaviyo over Shopify email, which is probably exactly where we're going to go right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said before, Shopify email is great for getting started and getting yourself moving in the right direction. I always like to say, what's your main objective? Is your main objective to be doing $50,000, $100,000 a month? You're definitely going to want to be using Klaviyo. And that's specifically because you want to be seeing around 10 to 15% of all of your revenue coming directly from automation. And, the more entry-level tools like Shopify email still do not have automation capabilities. I'm sure they will one day. Klaviyo is way more expensive, and Klaviyo gets billed by the amount of active customers or subscribers you have. There's a tiered structure. I think it's like $20 to $35, $40 a month to start off. And then from there it goes up. It's definitely more expensive, but it's more expensive for a reason. You have access to way more tools, way more advanced tools to help you scale your business over time. So if your goal is to build a business that's doing 25, 50, 100K, more than that a month in online revenue, you want to be in Klaviyo. It's my opinion, number one email platform right now for scaling brands that are in the Shopify ecosystem.
Awesome. And then Taylor, before we move on, is asking about whether there's going to be a recap of the tools and the recommendations at the end, which I...
Yeah, absolutely. We'll kind of go through some of the features towards the end. Once we're done with this kind of aspect of the workshop, we'll kind of compare and contrast the two. Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Awesome. So as we're going in here, you can see that this welcome flow is 8 emails long. And the way that we built it out is the email number 1 that we just went through is like the welcome introduction to the brand. It's telling you, hey, this is supposed to be like a warm and fuzzy message that also has that same promo code that was put in. And this email essentially should get sent out instantaneously once someone is triggered into these parameters of the trigger. So say I'm a new customer, I'm at tinyrituals.com. I see a pop-up for 20% off. I enter in my email, and then automatically I should get this first email that's a welcome to the brand. At the same time, that user is going to probably get the promo code as well through the success screen on the pop-up. But it's just continuity. You want to make sure that that person is seeing the same thing in their inbox, because we all have busy lives. We all have short attention spans as customers, and we all usually didn't wake up in the morning on a specific day to make a specific purchase online. For the majority of online purchases are made through really good marketing. They're more spontaneous purchases, and they're made because we're trying to do our job as marketers to get people to buy cool products. So that first email is always going to be an introduction to the brand. It's going to be a little exploratory. It's going to have that front end offer that was in that pop-up. As you can see here, the way that we've structured the timing between each campaign is 2 days. We usually recommend 2 to 5 days. It all depends on your brand. I would say you should at least be sending 5 emails in a welcome flow. But, if you don't have the resources available, bite off what you can handle. Start off with 3 or 4 and then work your way up. The great thing too is a little hack is that as you build in different campaigns that are more evergreen, say if you do a campaign on a specific collection of products, you can just add that campaign into your welcome flow. And that can be email number 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. And you can build this out to, 20, 30 emails that you're just repurposing your weekly campaigns. Now, if something's specific to a promotion or a specific product release, maybe you don't put those in there. But if you're doing a content feature, or you're doing a new collection, or a spotlight on a specific collection, or spotlight on a product, those are great components to just repurpose, reuse, and add in to that welcome flow.
Can I tag on to what you said at the beginning of this?
Yeah,
this intro to this, when you were talking about waking up in the morning and not thinking that you're going to buy from a specific retailer. That really goes into the philosophy I use on the type of copy that you write, because if something's worked on you before from another brand, keep that in mind. I have a little file in my inbox where I save brands that I like, but when they send me an email and I'm compelled to buy from it, even if I don't actually buy, I kind of ask myself, why was I almost going to buy that? So that's something that you can just use, whether it's their the brevity of their like the length of their sentences, or just kind of break down what works on you and maybe incorporate some of that into your own brand's copy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really like that. Another thing to remember too through email marketing, and we're going to move into email number 2, is keep email simple. Human beings, we have short attention spans, and writing too much copy or having too much flair and too many things going on are just going to overwhelm us. And the main objective from an email should be to capture someone's attention enough where they click through to your site. And then you click through to your site, they buy. Email marketing is just, retention marketing is all a channel it's essentially about the numbers. How many people do you have in your list? What's your open rate? What's your click-through rate? And what's your conversion rate? We are essentially monetizing our existing customers. And this is something I'm going to bring up now. I like to usually start off by talking about this, but essentially with any type of digital marketing, there's 3 types of traffic. There's traffic that you own, there's traffic that you buy, and there's traffic that you earn. Traffic that you buy is going to ads. It's going to Facebook, Instagram. It's buying ads and turning those ads into website traffic. Traffic that you own is PR or organic social media. That's traffic that you earn over time, and that earned traffic then drives people. That earned effort drives people to your site. And then traffic that you own is your email, your SMS, and even your customers' addresses. Sending a direct mail. Those are 3 types of marketing points on your customers that you technically own as a brand. And if you're ever thinking about selling your company one day, the first thing any type of investor or company that's going to acquire you is going to ask is how many customers do you have and how often do they buy from you? And those are things that are really important, because you could have a rock star product and people just buy it from you once and they never come back. And that's kind of a hard situation. We want to build online direct to consumer brands that have legs to scale into the future. We spend a lot of money acquiring customers. We need to find out how to monetize them, and this is the perfect way to monetize. So going back to a welcome series flow, the purpose of the welcome series is to curate those new subscribers that haven't purchased you yet and build the proper customer journey. So as we go into welcome email number 2 for Tiny Rituals, you'll see here that we're actually built this campaign that's kind of off of bestsellers. So we have some hero copy that says, have you set your intentions today? And we're kind of going through the intention packs, the energy bracelets, and then a little bit more ethos on the brand. And these two, the energy packs and the intention packs, are the brand's 2 bestsellers. So that's kind of talking a little bit more about that. And now we're going to go into a few others.
Can I jump in with something, Mark? So
yeah, sure.
A question that someone asked earlier and that was brought back up has to do with how much the landing page impacts the success of the campaigns, and what are the most important elements to carry through from the email to the landing page. If you don't mind, I'll jump on this, because one of the points that I was going to make about the copy that you write in your email is that you should have it as an offer. Like the reason that you're writing the email, you're either offering something to your customers or you're providing a value, or rather demonstrating your value as a brand, conveying what your values are. So the landing page in that sense will be to take you to the bestsellers, like Mark just showed you. So yes, it does rely heavily on that, but it's not like you have to craft. It's not like some sites where you'd have to craft an entirely new landing page, unless that was like a new collection that you were advertising or something.
Absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it, Alex. Essentially, these users are already warm traffic. They've signed up. They've been to your site before. They know who you are. But at the same time, if you're going to talk about bestsellers, you're not going to drive someone to the homepage of the site. Exactly. You're going to drive someone to a bestsellers page. Yeah. And another thing that I always recommend is make sure that you merchandise your collections properly. If you're driving users to a collection page that maybe has 50 products in it, and you feature 4 or 5 products at the top of that email, make sure those 4 or 5 products are at the top of that collection page and they're not buried, to product 30. So that's one point I would always make. Also,
people will bounce, I suppose, if they don't see
Exactly.
exactly what they came there for. So you have to be really honest about what your links are.
Yeah. And whenever possible, if you're doing something product specific, drive users specifically to a product page if possible. Mm-hmm. So, the least path of resistance, if you're going to drive someone, to a specific, if someone clicks on a product and they have to go to a collection page, that's going to add another step to get them back to a product page. So the less steps we can put in that journey, the better. But at the same time, part of having collection pages is a little bit of exploration. Like I said, no one woke up in the morning saying that they were usually going to make a purchase online. We captured their attention enough to make a purchase.
And just to clarify, because Eric has asked about creating these flows in Shopify email, he was asking if it's just Klaviyo, but Klaviyo is just a more robust way to do it, correct?
So that's a good question. Right now, Shopify email does not have automation capabilities.
Okay.
So if you're going to build, like I said, this is the pro version to kind of kick off with email marketing. If you want to build out automation in your business, then you're going to have to use a tool like Klaviyo. Klaviyo has the direct integration with Shopify. Shopify email just lets you actually run email campaigns. But you can't actually build automation into those.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Yeah. So going a little further down, the next campaign that we've built for the Welcome series for Tiny Rituals is another product feature. So we say need an energy boost. And this is specifically just focusing on the energy bracelet products. You can see here, it's very exploratory copy. What is an energy bracelet? What does it do? what are some different products. And you can see here, we've really relied heavily on the product feed specifically so we can pull in 6 products that are the best sellers. And the cool thing about this feature within Klaviyo is that we can actually, I'm going to minimize my screen for a second. I'm going to go in here and show you guys. You can actually set some different parameters within these campaigns. So if I go into the product feed, and this is what the editing tool looks like. If I go into the product feed here, you can see that I can actually build a feed off of specific products. I can say who to start with. We can actually say use personalization recommendations. So what this is actually doing is building a product feed of energy bracelets based on someone's browsing history related to their customer profile. So that's kind of some deep features within Klaviyo is they've kind of recognized what products someone's most interested in within that collection, and then they personalize it. They also build in, you can say the number of rows and columns, the max width. You can add in product name. You can also add in price and a button. Lots of cool things you can do there. But it gives you the ability to really customize this a lot. As you can see in this, for Tiny Rituals, what we have done is we actually rely heavily on building out a lot of these components within the front-end editing tool. We save all of these items in here as blocks, and then we can go back to those blocks and reuse them in the future for other campaigns. So it really makes creating campaigns a lot easier versus building something out super beautiful in Photoshop and then having to cut it and rebuild it out in image form. Cool thing too is you can actually build campaigns and customize them for mobile and desktop. You can make those tweaks in Klaviyo to really make sure that you have a mobile responsive page versus a desktop responsive. Too many times marketers focus on desktop and don't realize that over 80% of their emails that they send are going to get opened on mobile. So we always get stuck in this desktop version, but we need to recognize it's more important to focus on the mobile version, making sure it's easy to read, making sure that we have big buttons, making sure that people can recognize things. If it's harder for someone to comprehend, it's going to be harder for them to use and ultimately harder for them to go to your site and make a purchase. So
adding to that, in regards to the mobile version being the one that's used the most, we use for emojis because sometimes they don't translate across certain platforms. We use a site called Emojipedia, and I'll put the link in there. But that I don't think we've had any issues with that because some machines will, it won't play on that.
Emojipedia is great. Yeah, thanks for recognizing that. Yeah. What we realize is stick with the basic emojis. If you try to go more complex with ones that are like super custom, not every email platform, is going to read it right. Not every device is going to read it right. Not every browser. So stick with the basic ones. And like as Alex said, Emojipedia is great, and she's going to share the link. That's what we do.
It's right up there. Well, cool. Or I guess I could create a better link for it.
Awesome. Cool. So as we go into email number 4, rituals for a cause. So this brand, the cool thing about it is they actually have a cause related to it. They give back, and it really goes off of the ethos of the brand. And so the purpose of this brand is like through email, where it's at in the sequence is to be like, hey, we have a charity that's really important, and this cause is part of the ethos and the mission of the company. So really highlighting that and what goes into it and how it works. And then we're not even trying to drive someone to make a purchase here. We want them to learn more about the actual cause. But ultimately, through them learning about the cause, they're learning more about the brand, and they're learning more about the ethos and the mission of the company, which is going to help increase their purchasing decisions in the future. So not every email needs to be about buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You want to make sure that you can curate an experience in a journey where people are going to be able to learn about you, because not everyone wants to buy from you right away. Creating that relationship with the customer is like dating. Like, you want to make sure someone feels comfortable with you. And a lot of times we're fighting for a lot of attention with a lot of other brands out there. So super important to tell them about who you are and what you stand for. And as we go into email number 5, this one's actually really cool. We run a sweepstakes. Or sorry, what am I saying? Sweepstakes. I mean referral program. Yeah. So
I like sweepstakes though.
Yeah. Sweepstakes would be great, right? I have no idea why I said that. So in this email number 5, we actually run a referral program. And we run this referral program actually through the free version of Talkable. If you guys are interested in using a referral program, Talkable has an integration with Shopify. They have a free version. It's very limited in the amount of reporting that you're available to do, but it gives you the functionality to give someone a discount in exchange for, or someone an offer in exchange for getting them to refer somebody. So this give 10, get 10 offer is essentially a really, really good front-end offer to run a referral program. And that offer that you're going to have to build needs to reflect the unit economics of your business. So for Tiny Rituals, they understand what their average order value is. They understand what their customer acquisition costs are. And essentially, they're willing to give someone a $10 credit every time one of their friends makes a first-time purchase. And they're willing to give their friend $10 off their first purchase in exchange. Referral programs are a great way to entice your existing customers or subscribers to become advocates for your brand and to share with their network. If you have the right referral program, it can go viral. It can be extremely successful. I've worked on several brands that have scaled tremendously through referral programs. If you think of, like, let's say Uber back in 2012, 2013, they essentially grew the customer base of the business through their referral program. Every time someone would refer a friend, that person would get a credit when a new person signed up. And they were happy because they understand the unit economics. They understood how expensive it is to get a new customer. And so this is a great way to bake in your customer acquisition costs on the front end while also virally growing the business.
Bridget asked about optimizing for both desktop and mobile, like whether that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we'll dive back into this campaign real fast. It's always super important to make sure that your campaigns are optimized for mobile and desktop. Some of the things that I always like to say is keep the design simple, keep it super simple, and focus on mobile always first. So you can see here on the mobile version, it's very easy to read. We have a nice hero image. We do have an overlaid text image here, but we're very on brand. We have some great copy. We're highlighting that copy with some of the pink color of the brand. We have start sharing is a nice solid call to action that's easy to click on. And this is a very, very mobile responsive email design using a lot of the front end editing tool within Klaviyo. So yes, super important. Always make sure it's mobile ready. You wouldn't want to send this same campaign on a mobile device. If we had this same email on mobile, it wouldn't look very good. The buttons would be stacked on the bottom. Like, it's a little bit harder. So yeah, always important. Always start with mobile and then optimize for desktop.
Awesome. And a really good question, I think, from Mylon. What are the measures of success when it comes to open and click rates?
Yeah, so good question. So opening click rates are all going to be contingent on what type of campaign you're sending and what essentially is going on in your business. We like to see, especially like on automation, you can see here email, the open rate on this campaign that we just went through is 12%. By the way, some of the great things about the overall tools within Klaviyo is we can go into every single campaign and we can see the overall deliverability, open rates, click-through rates, the amount of revenue generated from it. Specifically in a welcome flow, you're always going to see that the open rate's going to be most solid on the first campaigns. You see the open rate's 30% here, click-through rate's 9%. But overall, if, on your regular email marketing campaigns, which those are things that you're going to want to look at more and more with click rates and open rates, they're going to be contingent on, the type of offer you're giving somebody in that email. Like anytime you send a promotional campaign, you're going to have a way higher open rate and click-through rate versus a content feature. It's important. I would say what we like to benchmark is around, if we can get an 18 to 20% open rate on e-commerce for brands, and then if we could get anywhere from a 1.8 to 4% click-through rate, that is amazing. Like that is really good. So those are some benchmarks that we're looking for just overall when we're working with our clients. Now, one thing to also consider is you never want to just blast everyone all the time. You want to what we consider is building an active, engaged segment, and that is anyone who's opened an email, signed up for a list, or clicked through or made a purchase within a certain period of time. And some clients, we say that that's a 60-day period, and then some clients we go all the way up to 365 days. What that's going to allow you to do is make sure that you're essentially cleaning your list and you're only sending to the most active, engaged audience. Because what happens if your open rates, click-through rates, your spam rates go up, all of those things go up, what happens is that you're going to get flagged through Gmail and Outlook and Yahoo Mail and all of these other email providers. They're looking at your sending reputation that's attached to the IP that you're sending from and also your domain. And so what happens is if you do not follow a lot of these best practices with email, then your domain and your IP are going to get flagged, and you're just going to start getting put into spam. You're going to get put into promotions tabs. So that's what happens there. And that ultimately, we have very little control to guarantee that email gets put into a specific folder on every device and every single person's email. There's no way we can control that. The only thing that we can do is run these types of best practices. If you guys are interested in learning more about that too, or if you guys have any questions through this, we're going to actually send a link where you guys can get in touch with us directly, set up a 15-minute assessment call where we can kind of give you some pointers and some feedback and talk about what it would potentially look like to work with us, if that's possible. But we'll be sharing a link to connect with us later on towards the end of the presentation. Yeah, so as we go through, just finishing this up, email number 6 is actually a blog feature. So we feature the blog. We do a lot of blog style features. The Tiny Rituals team has a really robust content team that's constantly releasing new blog articles. And then we're using those blogs as features that we can connect back to the product in email and drive users on a content basis. So actually for Tiny Rituals, what we do is we send a product feature and then a content feature, and we send a campaign every other day. So we'll send a product feature, then 2 days from then will be a content feature, then we'll switch back to a product feature. So that's kind of some of the sending cadence that we use with them, and it's worked really well.
Eric asked about where to get more info on the referral programs again. I think just what you'd mentioned. Yeah,
so it's called Talkable. Alex, if you want to look up the link, you can just and shoot it in the message board. If you guys have questions about Talkable too, feel free to reach out to us at the end. I'll actually shoot in a link right now. I'll shoot in a link right now that we can share Retention Lab. So our retention program is actually called Retention Lab. And here you can get some more information on us and actually set up a free assessment call with me. So that's in there. But do we have any other questions in regards to anything we're talking about from the Welcome series so far?
Not exactly pertaining to that. Ryan asked a good question about the difference in copywriting for B2C and B2B.
Yeah, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, typically, like everything that we do is typically B2C, and that's mostly what I'm used to. I have written B2B before. I don't find that it is that different, only because if you think of it as just a different segment of your customer base, then you're still just speaking to the customer. That might be something that we could consult on like a little bit more individually, since I'm not sure exactly what you mean. But still a good question.
Cool. So diving back into the welcome series, email number 7, what we actually do is you can see here, we started off with the front end offer, then we go into talking about product, we talk about the cause, we introduce the referral program, we talk about we introduce a blog, and then going into email number 7, we say only 24 hours left on 20% off. So now we're saying, hey, you only have 24 hours left to use your promo code of Welcome20. This is a solid call to action. We're saying you only have 24 hours left. We are gamifying and adding some scarcity to that promo code. If someone thinks they can just use this forever, there's no reason for them to use it. So what we're essentially doing is putting a time constraint on that promo code. And then what we do is as we go into email number 8, this brand actually has a really solid wholesale program. So we actually feature the wholesale program and kind of talk about it and let anyone who's potentially a wholesale client sign up for the wholesale program as well. So that's kind of what we push in there. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of wrapping up the end of a really, really cool welcome flow. I definitely recommend, you guys rewatching this and getting some inspiration. If you're interested in building a welcome flow from the ground up, what I would actually do is map it out on a piece of paper. Say, what does welcome email number 1 look like? What can I put in there? What's my front end offer? What are some best sellers that I can talk about? What's another product feature email I can do? Do I have a cause, or do I have something cool, a cool story to tell? A lot of you guys, I'm sure listening today are entrepreneur founders, and you guys have a cool story about the products or the services that you build, and you can tell that story. It's good to be small. It's good to have that connection. It's good to share that. If you have a referral program, put in that referral program. If you have a good blog with some good articles that relate back to the product, do some blog features, add in that scarcity email, and so forth. So I really hope that this training today has really helped you guys kind of figure out what you can do, because this welcome flow is one of 4 or 5 different flows that we recommend all clients have. And I think it could be really beneficial to helping you guys build that really unique and fine-tailored customer journey to new subscribers. So at this time in the presentation, I know we're about an hour and 10 in right now. We'd love to open it up to any type of questions that you guys may have. I know we've been talking through this, but let us know if you guys have any other questions. We'd love to hear you and talk through some things.
Yeah, I see Cece asked about whether we're transparent, or whether someone would be transparent with the time limit on the promo code in the first welcome email. I think that it's a good idea to do that, because then that gives people a little bit of an imperative to go to whatever the product is. And if they don't buy that time, they'll get another email in the flow that will remind them typically of how much time they have left.
For sure. I agree. Also, one thing to consider too when building out your welcome flow is always make sure that code is only good for first-time purchasers. You never want to make your clients realize, hey, I'm just going to reuse that code from the welcome flow, or think that they can reuse it. And as long as most customers don't know this, but as long as they make a purchase with that same email, it will not let them use that same code. People can gamify the system and create another account with another email, which is going to let them do that. But most people do not understand what's happening on the back end. So I know we sometimes get tied up into it, but just consider, always make sure that that code is only good for the first time purchase.
Another question, what other flows do you recommend?
Yes, very good question. So welcome series is, in my opinion, one of the most important. The most important that's going to generate the most amount of revenue from you right away is going to be your add to cart flow. And add to cart abandonment, also called cart abandonment flow. We recommend sending 3 to 4 emails and making those super transactional, some direct response copy. We actually even customize them and make them look like they're coming from a customer service rep, and add in a call to action with a good code. If you are a bigger business too, what we actually do on more of the pro version is we say, hey, if the cart value is under a specific amount, then they get a specific flow. So let's say, your product is, your average order is $60. We don't want to train clients or customers to come in and realize, oh, I'm just going to abandon cart and I'll get a code. What we want to do is we want to say, hey, if that cart is a 2, we also maybe don't want to give a promo unless the cart's of a certain value. So we say, hey, if the cart is above certain dollar amount, $70, $80, then we're willing to give a discount. If the cart's under a certain amount, hey, someone just started, they added 1 item, it's a low amount, we don't want to give them a discount. So that's some logic that you can build. Don't get stuck on those things until you're starting to do a lot of volume. Main objective is to have some type of discount in there. Those are super, super warm, hot users that for whatever reason did not convert, and you want to make sure that they finish converting. So, yeah.
Awesome. Another question, Jackie's asking about Smile, about the referral program.
Smile.io. Yeah, Smile's great too. Big thing with Smile and even to all of these referral programs is they can get expensive. I recommended Talkable, the free version, just because it's cheap and out of the box and easy. Swell Rewards by Yotpo is great, but it's also expensive. So just make sure that if you're going to invest into a paid program, like make sure that you're getting the full value out of it. Make sure that you have a good offer. Sometimes we talk with clients who want to launch a referral program, and I'm like, you're not giving someone enough to share. It's not going to be viral. So make sure the unit economics makes sense, but that it's also something that people are going to use and share. If it's not enough, then no one's going to use it.
Great. Another one. Oh, I think you might have mentioned this, but it's always a good one to reiterate. How much time to wait in between each welcome email and that flow?
Great question. I recommend anywhere from 2 to 5 days. If you have less emails, I would spread them out on around 4 to 5 days. If you have more emails, you could go 2 to 3 days between each one. There's really I've never found a framework to say this is the best time to send between welcome email 1 and 2. It's all contingent upon the brand, the amount of content you have, and exactly what you're doing.
Great. Anyone else have any specific questions? I'm going through here. Spiro was asking about setting an appointment. I think he means between us for like a consult.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Spiro. I'm going to drop the link in here again to Retention Lab. And like I said, Retention Lab is our retention division of Breadloaf. And I just put the link in there so you can schedule a meeting with me directly sometime next week.
Awesome. Rebecca asked a little while ago when we were talking about the promo code, like for the welcome series, does the offer code actually expire, or do you just say it does?
Just say it expires. Yeah, it's just gamifying it. Sometimes we have to play some tricks on the customers.
But we're all consumers too. We all
know. I mean, at the end of the day, if your products are that good and someone is going to enjoy it, I always like to say, if you wake up every day and you're running this business, if you know your products or services are that good, you need to do everything possible to sell your products to your target audience. If you truly believe that they're going to help your products or services help the world make it a better place, and that people are going to be ecstatic when they try your product or service, then you are doing your customers a disservice if you don't do everything in your power to try to get them to buy. That's the way you should look at marketing and how your mindset should be every single day.
So 2 questions that I think are really helpful is someone is asking about whether you should also use an SMS program, which we definitely
absolutely
do in conjunction with your email.
Yeah, you totally do it. Like I said, most of our clients are also integrated with SMS. If you're just starting off, do not get too overwhelmed. It's building blocks. Start off with email, start running email. If you really get email dialed in, email can be 30 to 40% of your overall website revenue. Around 15% coming straight from just your automation, another 10 to 15% coming from content features, and another 10, 15 coming directly from, product announcements and sales announcements. So focus on email. Don't get too overwhelmed. And once you dial it in, you feel like you have that rolling, then overlay on SMS as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Last one that I think is a really good one. Time of day and day of week to select when to send to your customers.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great one. So what I recommend is if you're a brand that's going to send 2 emails a week, which I'm sure most of you are, I recommend, even if you're at a small level, start with 1 or 2 emails a week, get in that cadence. Tuesdays and Thursdays, in my opinion, are the best days. Try to stay away from Mondays and Fridays unless there's a special reason, like it's either a special day or there's a component of a sale. And those are the 2 best days, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yeah.
I think we've pretty much hit everything.
Awesome. Well, great.
Oh, one more question. Last one.
Yeah.
The Welcome Series emails is only for new subscribers, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So and this is a question that we brought up. What are some other flows you should have? Welcome Series, then Abandoned Cart Series, then post-purchase, which is anyone who's purchased one time and they get put into a post-purchase flow. A repeat purchase flow, usually anyone who's purchasing for their second time, and then also customer win back. So anyone who purchased and hasn't purchased again in the last 60 to 90 days, depending on what that customer journey looks like. If you're a consumable, we like to say, well, if someone buys your soap, like when are they going to need a replenishment? And then you can frame a customer win back based on when they should purchase again. It could also be called a replenishment flow. Browse abandonment. So your existing customers, if they're browsing on your site, put them into a flow, get them back in, because Klaviyo is connected with Shopify. So it's tracking that browsing history. And if someone checked out a specific product, Klaviyo is going to be able to tag that profile and then trigger it and say, hey, we know you were checking this out. By the way, here's maybe a special offer on that product that you were checking out. So there's a lot of things we can do. Those are the flows that I recommend setting up. And then you can get a little more granular into the future on different things as you get more intense. But to start off with, that's what I recommend.
Great. Okay. I think that's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you guys were able to learn some stuff about what we do and kind of how we help brands similar to yours. Like I said, I'm going to throw in a link to Retention Labs one more time. You can click on that and actually schedule a free 15-minute assessment call with me directly. And I hope you guys were able to take some stuff away from this. If you get overwhelmed, there's going to be replays. You can replay and watch this thing all again. And I hope that helps. Feel free to reach out to us if you ever have any questions. And yeah.
Mark, it looks like maybe there was an issue on the site because Spiro said that it returned that there were no times available. So
really?
You want to drop in, or maybe Hans.
Yeah, absolutely. It might have been just a specific day, but I'll drop my email in here real fast, and you can connect with me directly. BakedBread.com.
Thank you so much, guys. This was wonderful.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is amazing. We really had a great time, and like I said, these are all building blocks. If you get confused or lost, stop for a second, map your stuff out, and applying this is really going to help you grow your business.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you later. Bye.